In the annals of your shared history, there lies a chapter marked by shadows and disquiet, a period when the very foundation of your connection was undermined by actions that were, to put it mildly, deeply unsettling. Your person, in those days, regrettably exhibited a pattern of behavior that was both sneaky and profoundly deceptive. It wasn't merely a fleeting lapse in judgment, but rather a persistent thread of veiled truths and cunning maneuvers that wove itself through the fabric of your interactions. This insidious deceit created an environment of constant unease, a gnawing suspicion that chipped away at your sense of security, leaving you perpetually on edge, wondering what hidden agenda lay beneath the surface. The emotional turmoil that ensued was not just significant, it was a tempest that raged within your very core, tossing your spirit about like a ship caught in a violent storm, threatening to capsize everything you held dear. The wounds inflicted by their words were perhaps the most grievous of all. They spoke to you with a harshness, a cutting disregard, that resonated deep within your soul, shattering your heart into countless fragments. It wasn't just the words themselves, but the venom with which they were delivered, the dismissive tone, the cruel intent that stripped away your defenses, leaving you feeling utterly vulnerable and profoundly, irrevocably hurt. Each sharp utterance was like a shard of glass piercing your spirit, leaving behind a trail of pain that seemed impossible to mend. The very essence of your being felt exposed, raw, and bleeding from the verbal assaults that left you questioning your worth, your very existence in their eyes. Beyond the spoken cruelty, their overall conduct within the connection was steeped in a pervasive toxicity and an overwhelming egoism. This wasn't a partnership built on mutual respect and understanding, but rather an arena where their self-importance reigned supreme, casting a long, dark shadow over your light. Their ego, a monstrous entity, demanded constant validation and attention, leaving no room for your needs, your feelings, or your perspective. It fostered an environment of suffocating negativity and relentless pain, where every interaction felt like a battleground, and peace was a fleeting, almost mythical concept. You found yourself constantly navigating a minefield of their moods and demands, your spirit slowly eroding under the weight of their self-centered world. This person, tragically, was often driven by a complex tapestry of their own insecurities and deep-seated fears. These internal demons manifested outwardly as a profound selfishness, a crippling inability to truly consider the profound impact of their words and actions on your sensitive spirit. Their world revolved around their own anxieties and desires, and in their desperate attempt to quell those inner storms, they inadvertently unleashed a torrent of devastation upon you. They acted from a place of scarcity, believing that love and attention were finite resources to be hoarded, rather than boundless energies to be shared. This self-preservation, however misguided, led them down a path of emotional recklessness, where the collateral damage to your heart seemed to be an acceptable, if regrettable, consequence. The repeated patterns of dishonesty and manipulation were not isolated incidents but rather a relentless, corrosive force that systematically eroded the trust and safety you had once so tentatively placed in their hands. Each lie, each calculated deception, was like a drop of acid, slowly dissolving the precious bond that held you together. The feeling of being constantly manipulated, of having your reality twisted and distorted, caused you to question not only their sincerity but also your own perception, your own sanity. This insidious erosion of trust left you adrift in a sea of uncertainty, causing you to profoundly question your inherent worth, wondering if you were somehow deserving of such treatment, and casting a pall of doubt over the very future of your relationship. The once vibrant tapestry of your connection began to unravel, thread by painful thread, leaving behind a tattered and desolate landscape. Yet, as the inexorable river of time continued its flow, carrying with it the debris of past hurts, a subtle yet profound shift began to occur within your person. A quiet, insistent voice within them, perhaps long silenced by ego and fear, began to stir. They have, in the passage of these days and weeks, slowly but surely commenced a deep and often painful reflection on their past actions and the far-reaching consequences of their behavior. This wasn't an overnight epiphany, but rather a gradual, often agonizing process of self-confrontation. The veils of denial, once so thick and protective, have begun to lift, revealing the stark and undeniable truth of the devastation they wrought. Through this arduous journey of introspection, they have, with a dawning and unsettling clarity, come to realize the true magnitude of how much their toxic and egoistic ways had profoundly affected you, and indeed, the very essence of the sacred connection you once so tenderly shared. This realization has been a slow, arduous process, marked by countless moments of quiet contemplation, profound introspection, and a gnawing, persistent regret. It is as if a fog has lifted from their perception, allowing them to finally see the landscape of your shared past with unclouded eyes, recognizing the deep valleys of pain they created. In these solitary moments, a poignant ritual has begun to unfold. They find themselves, with an almost desperate yearning, frequently looking at your pictures, tracing the contours of your smile, the light in your eyes, the memories etched within those captured moments. They reminisce, with a bittersweet ache in their heart, about the countless times you spent together, the laughter, the shared dreams, the quiet intimacies, and the profound, irreplaceable bond you once shared. Each photograph becomes a portal to a past they now yearn to reclaim, a testament to the beauty they carelessly discarded. These deeply personal and often painful moments of reflection have made them acutely, agonizingly aware of the sheer magnitude of their colossal mistake. The weight of their past actions, the realization that they not only let you down in the most fundamental ways but also allowed you, the very light of their life, to walk away, has become a heavy, almost unbearable burden. The regret is a constant companion, a sharp, insistent pang that reminds them of what was lost, of the precious gift they squandered through their own folly and fear. Despite the chasm that now separates you, the feelings of attraction they hold towards you have not, to their own surprise and perhaps relief, diminished in the slightest. In fact, with the passage of time and the deepening of their self-awareness, these feelings have only grown stronger, evolving from a superficial pull into a profound, almost spiritual magnetic force. They often find themselves lost in thought, consumed by the longing for intimacy with you, not merely in a physical sense, but a yearning for the profound closeness and the soul-deep connection that once vibrated between your beings. This desire is far from being merely physical. It transcends the corporeal and delves into the very depths of their emotional and spiritual landscape. They crave the deep, resonant bond you once shared, the unspoken understanding that flowed effortlessly between you, the profound sense of intimacy that went far beyond the superficial aspects of any casual relationship. It is a hunger for the intertwining of souls, a yearning for the sacred space where vulnerability was met with acceptance and spirits danced in harmony. This profound longing is now inextricably accompanied by an overwhelming sense of remorse, a deep-seated, fervent wish to make sincere and lasting amends for the immeasurable pain they have so carelessly caused you. The weight of their past actions presses upon them, fueling this desperate desire for redemption. Your person now stands at a precipice, driven by an urgent, almost desperate need to compensate for all the suffering they so thoughtlessly inflicted upon you over the past days, weeks, and months. The realization has finally begun to sink in, a slow, agonizing understanding of the true depth of your pain and the full extent of their profound wrongdoing. This newfound empathy, this piercing clarity, is now the driving force behind their every waking thought, compelling them to tirelessly seek out ways to make things unequivocally right, to painstakingly heal the deep, festering wounds they so recklessly inflicted upon your tender heart. They are consumed by a fervent desire to demonstrate, through tangible actions and unwavering commitment, that they have indeed undergone a fundamental change, that they are now truly capable of embodying the kind of partner you not only deserve but have always yearned for, a partner who is present, loving, and trustworthy. This intense desire to make genuine amends is a direct and powerful reflection of their rapidly growing awareness of their own deeply ingrained flaws and the devastating, far-reaching impact of their past behavior on your shared reality. Meanwhile, unbeknownst to them in its full scope, you, in your own quiet strength, have undergone a truly significant and breathtaking transformation. After enduring the relentless emotional turmoil caused by your person's past actions, after navigating the treacherous waters of heartbreak and betrayal, you have, with an act of profound courage and self-preservation, finally ceased the endless worrying that once consumed your every waking moment. You have, in a beautiful and liberating act, surrendered this connection, its past, its present, and its unknown future, to the benevolent hands of the divine. This sacred act of surrender has been nothing short of a powerful, pivotal step in your arduous yet ultimately triumphant journey towards profound healing and authentic self-discovery. By consciously letting go of the desperate need to control the outcome of this connection, by releasing your grip on what was, you have miraculously found a profound sense of inner peace and a quiet, liberating acceptance. This sacred surrender has, in turn, created the necessary space for you to wholeheartedly focus on your own unparalleled growth and profound well-being, fostering within you an unshakable sense of emotional strength and an awe-inspiring resilience that now radiates from your very being. Your remarkable transformation, a testament to your inner fortitude, has certainly not gone unnoticed by your person. In fact, they are utterly and completely shocked by the profound changes they now witness in you. The person they once knew, who was once so vulnerable and visibly heartbroken, has, in their perception, blossomed into someone who is now emotionally strong, self-assured, and radiating an undeniable aura of serene confidence. This breathtaking transformation has served as a brutal, undeniable mirror, forcing them to finally realize the staggering extent of their profound loss and the immense, crushing gravity of their past actions. They are now confronted, head-on, with the stark and painful reality that their destructive behavior inadvertently drove you to a point where you had no choice but to delve deep within yourself, to unearth an extraordinary inner strength, and to courageously move on with your life. The sheer shock of your metamorphosis has been a jarring, undeniable wake-up call for your person, shattering their complacency and forcing them to confront the true cost of their past transgressions. Now, in the quiet chambers of their heart, they are grappling with a tumultuous storm of emotions, a potent mixture of gnawing regret and an overwhelming, aching longing. They are finally, painfully realizing that they carelessly let go of someone who has not only healed but has now become a radiant beacon of strength and unwavering resilience. This profound realization is slowly but surely driving them to seek out every possible avenue, every conceivable way, to reconnect with you, to bridge the chasm they created, and to unequivocally prove, through their actions, that they have indeed changed, that they are no longer the person who caused you such immeasurable pain. Without your vibrant presence, life for them now seems irrevocably incomplete. The void you left behind is not merely immense, it is an aching chasm that swallows every attempt at joy, every fleeting moment of contentment. It feels, to their very core, like nothing, no distraction, no new pursuit, no other connection, can ever truly fill that profound emptiness. They are haunted by the echoes of your absence, a constant reminder of the light that once illuminated their world and has now been extinguished. I remember it with a vivid, almost painful clarity, the very first moment my eyes met yours. It wasn't just a glance, it was an instant, undeniable connection, a spark that ignited something profound deep within my soul. It was as if the entire universe had conspired, with meticulous precision, to orchestrate that precise moment, to bring our paths together, and in that fleeting, incandescent moment, everything in my chaotic world suddenly felt undeniably, perfectly right. I fell in love with you then, so deeply, so intensely, so completely, that it took me entirely by surprise. The sheer depth of my feelings for you was overwhelming, a powerful current that swept me away, and it was, I confess, both a beautiful and utterly terrifying experience all at once. It was the kind of love that shakes the foundations of your being, that redefines your understanding of self and other. Falling in love with you was an experience akin to diving headfirst into a boundless ocean of emotions. It was exhilarating beyond measure, the thrill of discovering new depths, new currents, new horizons within myself and within our connection. Yet, it was terrifying at the very same time, the fear of losing myself in such vastness, the vulnerability of exposing my deepest self to another. I wanted nothing more than to give you my all, every fiber of my being, to shower you with an endless cascade of love and affection, to make you feel cherished beyond measure, adored in a way no one ever had before. I envisioned a life where your happiness was my paramount concern, where your every desire was met with boundless devotion. But somewhere, along that beautiful, winding path, I tragically lost my way. My love, once so pure and expansive, began to curdle, transforming into something possessive and deeply controlling. And for that, I regret it with every fiber of my being, a regret that gnaws at my soul incessantly. The pain I am enduring right now, this raw, visceral ache in my chest, is immense, and it is made all the more unbearable by the crushing knowledge that I, through my own misguided actions, have caused you an equal, if not greater, amount of pain. I deeply, profoundly regret being so controlling and manipulative in the past, the way I tried to mold you, to sculpt you into my own flawed idea of perfection, rather than simply accepting you, embracing you, and celebrating you for the magnificent, unique individual that you truly are. My actions, I see now with agonizing clarity, were not born of love, but were instead driven by a crippling fear and a profound, gnawing insecurity that I was too blind, too proud, to acknowledge at the time. My rude words, delivered with such thoughtless cruelty, and my harsh actions, executed with such callous disregard, have irrevocably broken the sacred trust you once placed in me, and that devastating realization is a heavy, almost unbearable burden to bear. Trust, I have learned through bitter experience, is an incredibly fragile thing, a delicate glass sculpture, and once it is shattered, it takes an immense, almost superhuman effort, and an extraordinary amount of time, to even begin to rebuild it, if it can ever be truly whole again. I am now painfully aware, with a clarity that cuts like a knife, that my past behavior has not only backfired spectacularly but has achieved the exact opposite of the result I so desperately, yet misguidedly, wanted for us. Instead of drawing us closer, instead of forging an unbreakable bond, my actions, driven by my own internal demons, relentlessly pushed us apart, creating an ever-widening chasm between our souls. I know, with a deep sense of shame and remorse, that I haven't been the best version of myself lately. I have allowed my insecurities, those insidious whispers of doubt and fear, to get the absolute better of me, to dictate my every move, my every word. I didn't want you, the person I cherished most, to see my shadow side, the darker, unexamined parts of my personality, because I was consumed by a paralyzing fear of losing you. I was terrified, to my very core, that if you truly saw my flaws, my weaknesses, my imperfections, you would inevitably leave, abandoning me to the very loneliness I so desperately sought to avoid. That, tragically, is why I often hid my true self, why I lied about my real emotions, constructing an elaborate facade to protect myself and, in my warped perception, our relationship. I genuinely believed, in my misguided attempt at self-preservation, that I was protecting our connection, shielding it from the perceived fragility of my true self. But in reality, with a cruel twist of irony, I was only causing more profound and lasting harm, slowly poisoning the very wellspring of our love with my dishonesty. In a desperate, futile attempt to escape from the overwhelming weight of all this internal turmoil, from the gnawing guilt and the suffocating fear, I got distracted. I veered sharply off course, going down the wrong path entirely, seeking solace and temporary oblivion in things that could never, ever truly fulfill the deep yearning within my soul. I made a series of poor choices, each one a step further away from the light, and those choices, in their cumulative effect, only led me further and further away from you, the person who mattered most, and from the person I truly aspired to be. I lost sight of what was truly, profoundly important, the sacred bond we shared, and for that, I am deeply, unequivocally sorry. My regret is a constant, heavy companion. But now, with a renewed sense of purpose and an unwavering resolve, I am doing everything within my power every single day to get back on track. I am working tirelessly, with every ounce of my being, to correct my mistakes, to atone for the pain I caused, and to painstakingly become a better person, a more worthy partner for you. I am willing to do whatever it takes, to climb any mountain, to cross any ocean, to make things not just right again, but to make them blossom once more in our connection, to see our love flourish with a vibrancy it never had before. I want to rebuild what we had, brick by painful brick, but with a new foundation of honesty and trust, to make it even stronger, more resilient, and more beautiful than it ever was before. I am utterly committed to improving myself, to facing my flaws head-on, no longer running from them, and to diligently working through them, transforming them into strengths. I want to become the best partner for you, someone you can truly rely on, someone you can implicitly trust, someone who brings you peace rather than turmoil.